Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review. Today from Jakks Pacific and their Sonic the Hedgehog line, we are featuring classic Super Sonic, complete with spring accessory. Alright, so I love Super Sonic. I'm also very fond of the classic Sonic the Hedgehog design. Modern Sonic, he's cool and all that, but I just love the stockier, stubbier look of classic Sonic with the shorter legs and the big head. I think it just looks great. He's a product of my time. I was in high school when they debuted Sonic the Hedgehog in the early 90s, and the character just won me over. He's become Sega's much beloved mascot, on par with like Mario, and I am so happy to have this action figure. On the back, some other figures. Oh, this one's cool. Heavy Gunner's cool. Shadow's cool. So yeah, it's always cool when you get these oddball characters. For me, they're always harder to come across in the wild. But yeah, I'm very stoked on this. It also highlights some of the key features. Head swivel, the arms move, legs move. The spring accessory is awesome also because if you happen to have any of the play sets, there's a little hole on the bottom so you can mount them onto the playset, customizing your playset. So that's a very neat feature. So here's the spring accessory, which is actually spring loaded. So if you've ever played the video games, this is the kind of stuff that Sonic bounces off of and launches off of. There's a peg hole here, so if you happen to have any of the play sets, you can easily mount this onto it. Really cool to have. Alright, so we have Super Sonic. Alright, so one of the things I like most about Super Sonic is that I love how he's just all yellow and gold. So I always kind of felt like Super Sonic was paying homage to the Dragon Ball character Goku, especially during the early 90s. The anime Dragon Ball Z was such a huge thing in Japan at the time. And I always kind of felt like Super Sonic with the gold color scheme was paying homage to the character Goku when he levels up and enters Super Saiyan form. Much like Goku, Sonic, all his hair kind of like puffs up and flares upward. He turns gold, much like Goku, and he's kind of like super powered. So it's very apparent that this was kind of like an homage, or at least took inspiration from the much beloved Dragon Ball character. Wonderful action figure. Again, like I mentioned, this is the classic Sonic the Hedgehog design. Unlike modern Sonic, he has the shorter, stubbier legs, and he's a little bit more bulbous and chubby, which I think is much more kawaii. It's much more chibi, and it's a fantastic looking figure. Very top heavy too. Immediately when you handle him, you could kind of feel like most of his weight is upward towards his head, which makes posing these figures kind of a challenge. Thankfully, he has these larger feet and also peg holes, so you can mount them onto like a display base, or if you have any of the play sets. Nice sculpting. It's just a very clean looking figure. It's very cartoon, video game inspired. The articulation is a little bit more limited than some of the other figures, which I don't mind. I've said this before with some of the Sonic and some of the Mario Nintendo figures, is that with a lot of these figures, their limbs are very thin and very small. So even though they afford you all this articulation, it just becomes a challenge to like pose them because it's very fiddly And it doesn't help that the characters are so top heavy. So trying to get them in the right poses is always going to be a challenge. But nonetheless, really, really well executed action figures. You know, it just really captures the on-screen vibe of the character. And the articulation, it's decent. You know, it's not super articulated, but it's just enough. And it's a great, beautiful looking figure. If you're a fan of Sonic, and especially of Super Sonic when he levels up, you know, this figure is a must purchase. You can never have too many Sonic the Hedgehog figures. You know, there's so many of them, but I think each one deserves a purchase. So if you love you some Sonic, go out there and grab this guy. You won't regret it. Okay, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.